Hey guys, in this video I am doing one of my stylist's hair. She rents a chair in my salon and we are finally making time for ourselves because we are always so bad at that, aren't we? She uses the Agora lightner by Schwarzkopf, and I've never used it before, so I'm excited to try it. It's always fun to try new things. You kind of stick with what you're comfortable with, and I think it's good to go outside of the box sometimes. Her blondes always look amazing, so I was excited to try it out. So she wanted to try to do the a little bit darker in her hair. She's pretty blonde naturally, so she just usually does a really light blonde. Sometimes she adds some pinks in there or other colors, but she wanted to do a kind of a color melt in between of a little bit of richer color than her natural hair color, faded into her ends that are lighter. So I'm going through and doing like a really piecey highlight, as you can see here, leaving enough space in between that she'll really be able to see the contrast between those highlights and the darkness. And it's okay because the dark next to the blonde will make the blonde pop even more. So she will still feel brighter, even though we're not putting a really heavy highlight in there like she's used to. The color we end up putting in between is the Shades Gloss from Redken, the 7N. She's pretty much an 8 to 9 naturally, so a 7N just brings her a touch darker.
Wow.
So anyways, over here on the side, I am doing the slices about 1 inch wide. As I go further down on a diagonal pattern, the section will be longer, so I won't do a whole full slice, but I will section it to where each section of the weave is about 1 inch long. I want to keep it really piecey on the side there. Right there where I'm clipping out of the way, I want to keep dark, so therefore when these piecey blondes lay over top of it, you'll still see depth underneath. If I did not leave that section out and I added blonde into it, it would just blend into the other highlights that I foiled first on the underneath side of the hair. And I don't want to see a blended in look. I want it to show definite dimension in there and contrast. However, as I get close to around the face, like right here, I do a more of a baby light. Because, when she pulls it back, she doesn't want to see a big old chunk of blonde. We want it to be softer right there. After this foil, I began to add in the low light. Again, it's the 7N from Shades Gloss by Redken. I'm going to use a foil around the face because I don't want it to touch your face, and it just keeps it a lot cleaner it's really liquidy color, so I want to keep it nice and neat. I put the color on there with the brush, and then I use the Redken blur brush to kind of spread it down, as you can see. What you see me spreading through the rest of the ends of her hair after putting the dark of her root is Olaplex number 2. It helps keep the hair stuck to the foil, and it's just a nice little mini treatment for her. So this next foil, the next one up, I go a little bit further down. Instead of using the blur brush, I use the eyeshadow brush right there and bring it a little bit further down on the sides, on the right side specifically. And then I kind of drag little pieces. It's almost like doing a reverse balayage. Instead of painting lightner up in like a W, I'm painting it down like in an M with the blur brush, or not the blur brush, the eyeshadow brush. So it just kind of has like a dimensional look to it. So this third foil, I'll bring the color down even further, and then I'll kind of repeat that process in the next 3 foils. Well, I think there's only 1 left here, but in general, I'll start further away from the face. The second one's a little bit further down. This one's even further down. It'll give it the look of lighter on the face to a little bit darker as it goes back. But since there's only, I think, 2 sections left here, yeah, I think I bring that down a little bit further also, because I know that I'm thinking ahead. So when I go through and do the top, I'm not going to bring many of those down too far because I don't want it to feel too dark or end up looking too dark. And I know that the blonde that's on top, that's what will be nice and bright, will lay over these darker pieces. So here I'm using the eyeshadow brush again and doing the shape of an M. I do want to keep it darker underneath. Just remember, when adding low lights, if somebody wants to be pretty blonde still, but they want to try doing a low light or a color mel or adding some depth in there, keep the darker basically underneath and the lighter on top. And when the light highlights lay over top of the dark, it makes them stand out. It makes them pop. So I did not add a low light to the very first section of hair that was left out around her face. I didn't want one there. I wanted to keep her lighter. And again, the first low light you saw me do was only 1.5 inches or so down. This one's a little bit further down. I'm using the makeup brush again to do a W, so there's some contrast in there. And then this third one I'll bring down further, I believe. And then the fourth one back, I think I do a little bit shorter again. So it's kind of, think of it as like bricklaying. You bricklay your lowlights, therefore they don't look like they stop in the same spot everywhere, as if somebody came in with like 5 or 6 inches of regrowth, a solid line of demarcation, and you just added some highlights to that. So you can definitely tell it's the dark is the same length all around the hair, like there's a ring. If you bring down the low lights differently in each foil, you'll avoid that look. Now don't forget to color the hair underneath. You don't want it to look differently than the color on top. You don't want to have, if you're going to put low lights on the top that's darker than the back also, then you need to do something with the back. Add low lights to it, or like I'm doing here and just making it an all over color. So she processed about 25 minutes. I rinsed out the dark first before I took out her foil so the dark didn't bleed onto her bright blonde. I'm root smudging her with, this has been so long, I believe it is an 8N. Just to blend in that line just a touch. And then I believe we toned her. She likes to be ashy, so most likely it was 9P and 9V with some clear with the Redken shades. This was her inspiration pick. She just kind of wanted something similar to this. And this next picture is what she ended up with. So it looks nice. She has a bright piece around her face, some brighter highlights throughout, with some dimension in between. And now she's actually contemplating on doing it maybe like a 6 next time. I think that'll be fun. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it was knowledgeable for you. And if you would like to see more, please subscribe and click the little bell next to the subscribe button to be notified whenever I do release more videos. But keep coming back because I will be making more, and I actually have quite a few more I need to edit and put out there. just making the time for it, because it's Christmas time at the salon. Well, it's November. It's not even Thanksgiving yet, but it's Christmas time when it comes to retail, and I make homemade candles and chapsticks and things like that. That's also what I give my clients for their gifts. I did make a video on how to make chapsticks, or lip balm. I like to call them lip balm. I'm going to make soy candles with essential oils. If you would like a video on that, just comment below and let me know, and I will make one. Thank you. Bye.